is a dog trainer.
Okay, sit. Good boy.
In his personal time, Kyle's a personal trainer.
1, 2, good.
Kyle knows how to get results, but when it comes
Hey guys, welcome. So go ahead and post any response on YouTube. I'll make sure I type that as well if you'd like to say something. Okay, and then we'll get going. Turn the slide. There we go. Can you explainers the explainers the what? Yes, Mackenzie, I'm more than happy to help you just type out what it is. So let's get that closed. All I need to do is be able to see the chat. So let's have that pop out. There we go. Make sure my settings here are good. Yep. That is a unique one. Okay, so can you explain how the caste system connects with Hinduism? No, you're fine. No bigs. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually, probably for a lot of this stuff tonight, is I'm going to be doing this on a Google drawing. Okay, so let me go pop that up. And I think it's probably best if I explain it there, just because that'll make more sense. So let's just go open one. Okay, so how does the caste system connect with Hinduism? Well, the two exist basically together. They can't be separated. And so what I mean is that really, like, when Hinduism is first developed, again, that's a long time ago, okay? We talked about the Aryans kind of setting that up. The thing is that when they set up the caste system, it's laid down exactly the same time as Hinduism is, and the two really are completely and totally connected. So let's change this here. Okay, line. There we go. Okay, so the caste system. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a very basic of the caste system, and I'll kind of point out a couple of examples. There's thousands and thousands of castes, okay, and this will kind of help point this out to you. At least that's my hope. Okay, so here we go. So at the very bottom, okay, and technically they're not even on the caste system, but I'm going to use them as an example, called sutras. Okay, they're the untouchables. Okay, actually that's not technically correct. So sutras here, and then below them are what are called the untouchables. Okay, I'm going to talk about the untouchables first, and then I will then at the very top talk about our Brahmins. Okay, so kind of to back up here, make sure I'm clear with everybody. The caste system, okay, is a social class system. Okay, except you need to think of the caste system as being much more sticky. It's very hard to get during one's lifetime, social mobility, where you can move up and down these tiers, okay, that I have featured right here. Let me go ahead and I'm going to flip my video over so you guys can see that just a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so it is an extremely complex system. And so how the two connect is that Hinduism, okay, believes in reincarnation. Okay, and so we've talked in class about, and this was last semester, okay, about the importance of these two things. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit larger so you can see them. Okay, and that was karma and dharma. Okay, with those two things, okay, at least that's the idea in Hinduism, is that you will reincarnate upwards on the social caste. Okay, so an untouchable is technically not even on the social ladder, but the idea is that if you are a really great untouchable, you follow karma, okay, which is again right actions, and then dharma, which is like duties and right intentions, then you will reincarnate upwards, okay, and then you keep doing that all the way until you are what is called a Brahmin priest, okay, and Brahmin priests are the head essentially of the religion of Hinduism, okay, and if they reincarnate upwards, then they reach what is called a state of moksha, okay, M-O-K-S-H-A. Actually, I'm just going to take this out, that'd be way easier. So moksha, M-O-K-S-H-A, and basically that means that you get off of the wheel of the endless, essentially, cycle of rebirth and death, okay. And again, if you don't remember, moksha is when you achieve unity with Brahman. Now, as you can see there, how the caste system is really built into how you move up the social levels and also kind of socio-religious levels in Hindu and Indian society. Now, what's kind of interesting about this to kind of make a modern connection for you, Mackenzie, is that technically India says that the caste system was banned today, although that is definitely not the case. It is still informally very heavily enforced. It influences everything from who you marry, to what job you have, to where you live. Everything is influenced by that system. So the two are intimately connected, if that helps make any sense. You really just can't talk about one without talking about the other. So yeah, if you want to think of it this way, the caste system is the pyramid, and then Hinduism is the religion, but really the two work in tandem. Hope that helps. Let's clear all this off. So hey, if you guys are just hanging out or joining us, how it's very simple. For those of you who maybe jumped in here late, all you do is post something in YouTube, YouTube chat. Okay, and you're more than welcome if you want to just post something in there, and I'll talk about it, and it will store it for later. So in case you are trying to avoid being a data piggy. Okay, so until you guys ask me more questions, it is a Sunday night, and I've got stuff that I need to be working on, so I'm going to be working on school stuff just like you. So, helping you guys get ready for the week and get myself ready for the week. No, please, I will answer any questions right away. I'm hoping to maybe stay on here for 45 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll see how many questions are being asked. And DCUSH students, if I know I invited you too, if you guys want to ask questions, you're more than welcome to, because we do have lots of stuff coming up in the future. So, I'm using the million being one of them. I think we have to discuss next class. The caste system connects with Hinduism. You're fine. No worries. It's a good question. Oh, actually sounds about right. Okay. 10. Ooh, let's see this. Recipe today. There we go. Write the recipe for manifesting creative answers. All right, so for instance, add 1 ounce of social Darwinism. Isn't the 5 pillars like Islam's basic beliefs, or does this have to do more with the Quran? Actually, both. So the 5 pillars are Islam's basic beliefs. There are some very subtle differences, Mackenzie, that we didn't talk about, with differences between how Shia and Sunni interpret the 5 pillars. And that doesn't even get us to like other kinds of Shia Muslims that practice what's called Sufism. But typically, yeah, the 5 pillars are Islam's basic beliefs, and then they also are a part of the Quran. And yes, you will need to know what the 5 pillars are for this test. That is an important thing you want to make sure, because it is the basic beliefs of Islam. It's like knowing the 10 Commandments, or certain parts of the Torah. Add 1 ounce of social Darwinism. Mix in 2 tablespoons of. This is a manifestation. Belief in God-given destiny. Fold in. Gently stir in 3 pounds of Set to cook. Let's do it 1,776 degrees. Let's do a little U.S. history pun there. And then how many years? I think about another significant year. Well, how many years is 2018 minus 1776? If we're calling 76 the start of 242 years. Works for me. But I'm not gonna lie, I love that warm up. That's really creative. Okay, so we're gonna start a new session. We're gonna copy this, activate it. So for all you world history kids, there's one of the warm ups that you just saw for DCUSH. Like, you talk about recipes? Not exactly. But that's a pretty good sample right there. It's fun, but demands a lot of thinking. which are just the kinds of stuff that we do in DCUSH, pretty much. Well, maybe not fun, but I don't know. You have to ask a DCUSH student about that. Okay, so that's good to go. All done on that. Oh, I've got this open in another document. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right, because I was planning to record all this jazz. This is good to go. I worked on this today. Let's try to add in a picture of Hawaii back here. Scenery, maybe? That works. See, I was afraid of that happening. Let's get rid of the background. So we'll have to get a little creative. Okay, so I think that one's good for me to record. Just gonna move on to part 4. You guys better get asking questions on here. It's not like I'm billing you, for the time or anything. Google Drive. Looking for part 4. I think part 4 is no, because we have 4 to 1. That's fine. Oh, maybe that's not part 3. Part 3. Oh, that's right, because I combined some of these things. Okay, so this is going to be part 4. Key Warner, can you please go over some of the main points from the Africa lesson? Yeah, I'm more than happy to. Let's go do it. So, Intrepid Islam in Amazing Africa. Okay. Let's see here. So are you thinking like main points, or you like the objectives? Is that what you're wanting me to hit, Caitlin? I'll wait for you to respond here before I go and talk about something that's like totally not what you wanted. Let's see. So I'm only going to, assuming that's what you want, I'm probably only going to be talking about these first 2 stations here that we did. So let's see if that was actually the case. Yes, the objectives. Okay, cool. So explain the impact of Africa's major geographical features, then trace the spread of Islam westward and its impact on African society. Okay. So what I'm going to do, Caitlin, and for other people watching, is I'm going to treat this like if I were tackling this, how would I study it, okay, and how would I pick up on the important information? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click, let's tackle the geography and the Bantu migrations first. Okay, so the question was, again, I'm just going to go back and review, because it explained the impact of Africa's geography, Africa's major geographical features. Okay, so probably what I would do if I'm, say, okay, if I heard features, that means there's plural, is that I'm probably going to see multiple of them. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shrink this down, because I don't need to look at chat here for a little while. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put the document over here to one side, and I'm going to put a drawing over here to one side. And this is exactly what I would do if I were trying to tackle this. And so what I would do is I would just essentially make a T-chart, at least to start myself off notes-wise. Okay, so here's our document, and then we got our thing over here. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a T-chart. There we go, and there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to label these just very simply. And again, this is like a really, graphic organizers, by the way, are like one of the best possible ways that you can study, because they are really good at organizing information and then later taking those and like actually like transforming the information in some way. Okay, so we have what's the geographic feature, and then over here, what's the impact of that feature. Okay. All right, so and this is exactly what I would do. Is just like I would just make some kind of very rough T-chart like here. Okay, so Africa is the world's second largest continent. The geography is immensely varied, but certain features have had a major impact on its development. Site and location contributed to a range of climates, vegetation. All right. So it talks about other things here. The largest desert. Okay, it said. Okay, so desert beyond the savannas lies the Sahara, the largest desert in the world. Although the Sahara did become a highway for migration and trade, its size and harsh terrain limited movement. So boom, there we go. Okay, so all I'm going to do is now I know one feature, and they also mentioned some other deserts as well, but really the Sahara is the main one. There's the Kalahari, and then they mentioned one, Kalahari and Nabib. Okay, so the Sahara. It's a weird movie with Bradley Cooper in it, and Penelope Cruz. So the Sahara. And then what's the impact of it? Okay, it's a barrier to movement and trade. Yeah, and putting stuff in your own words is also probably a really, really good idea, because if you put in your own words, it means that you kind of own the information. Okay, I'm going to keep going down here. Mediterranean. Okay. Mediterranean coast in North Africa and the tip of southern Africa lies over fertile farmland. So there are a few areas for fertile kind of farming, but I didn't see a lot there. Okay, so geographic features. So boom, there's a section called this, which I'm looking at headings. Okay, other geographic have acted as barriers to easy movement of people and goods. Okay, so it has few good natural harbors. Okay, so that's something they mentioned, and I'm just literally just going to draw an arrow up there here in a second. Okay, so there's cataracts. Okay, so those, again, a cataract is a waterfall. So again, notice how if I need to make sure I go and explain the information that I do so to myself, so that way I know it. Okay, so Sahara is a barrier to trade. There we go. Okay, but then they also said that these same rivers serve as open highways, so rivers in the interior serve as good transport. Oh, well, see, I'm not paying attention, because if I was doing this T-chart right, I would do that here, and I would paste this guy over here. Trying to do the T-chart with fidelity. Okay, let's see. People did migrate. Okay, resources and trade. Sits atop of great mineral and other natural resources. Desire for gold and diamonds was one cause that led Europeans to seek control of lands in Africa. So I guess I could actually mention that, and we will actually get to this semester, which I'm really excited for, which is the European Scramble for Africa. So, rich in natural resources. And so we can say, because people are, human beings have a huge influence on how geography works. And so we can say this causes European desire for Africa later. Okay, and I think that's about it. Okay, we could also talk about camels and that they do serve as a good transport, but there you go. Okay, so that's how I would do that. I would make a T-chart. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. So what else we got? Oh, hey God. I wasn't aware that God had 2 sons. Good to know. I'm not gonna lie, that name still cracks me up every single time I say it. So I think that's that objective. I feel pretty good about that. So let's just go ahead and jump out of that. Okay, and then the other was trace the spread of Islam westward and its impact on African society. And I can actually do this one really quickly. So we had this packet here, and I want to focus on a couple pieces of information that were inside of it. Okay, so this was called the spread of Islam. It came from Yale. Okay, and what it was, okay, and I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. Actually, let's do this zoom because that'll look nicer than that one. Okay, so how did it impact local populations? There's really a whole variety of things that we could talk about here. We've discussed already how Islam spread, which was trade and war. Okay, however, there's a whole bunch of things after that point that kind of give us some details. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like highlight this text. I think it's probably the best way for me to do it. It says, Muslims rarely force people to convert to their religion, often preferring to levy a special tax on minority communities instead. Okay, so forcible conversion was not one way that Islam spread westward. Okay, again, because it's spreading west from the Arabian Peninsula, right? The famous jihad or holy war was mainly used for defense, though there were exceptions, but the success of Muslim armies could create a context in which other people found it smart to convert, or in which they were attracted to the religion, simply because it looked powerful, it had a manifest power to it. So that's kind of talking about war, right? Because like when an army marches through like your neck of the woods, and they wipe out your army, like, man, maybe there's something to that. Like, they must really have God on their side, and so that maybe that does convert people. The other thing is they just find it smart to convert. It's easier for business, for example, if you are a Muslim caravan trader as opposed to an African polytheistic religion caravan trader. Okay, so in other instances, it spread through more spontaneous conversions, through trade and missionaries. Okay, and missionaries again are the people most often you see, like for instance, the Jehovah's Witnesses or people like that who travel around and try to essentially spread their faith. You see it a lot today with like churches that go overseas and then they'll go and like build a building somewhere and then also kind of like provide religious services to a place. The religion's clearly attractive with an explicit set of beliefs about what to do and what not to do, so it's easy to understand. It appeals to lower class groups because of its commitment to charity and spiritual equality. Okay? And we also talked about how merchants weren't viewed very well, and so it attracts them as well. And again, Muhammad was a merchant, so that kind of ties into that as well. So one thing with this, especially lower class group to remember, is that one of the 5 pillars is alms, zakat, that they have to give. Muslims, according to the 5 pillar, should give part of their income to the poor and to the needy. So the question was, again, like, how does trace the spread of Islam westward? We kind of talked about that, and its impacts on African society. Well, all those things that I just mentioned are going to impact African society, whether or not you're converting because an army marches through, or you're converting because you find it prudent to convert because you're poor and you might benefit from that. Those are all impacts on African society. Or you convert because you don't want to pay the tax on a minority community. So I hope that helps. I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, but... Okay, so guys, just a few more minutes, and then I need to get going here pretty soon. I've got things I need to do. Go ahead and clear this drawing. Hopefully that helped us scale. So this is now part 4. Let's get our chat reestablished up here. Up in here, up in here. I'm not gonna lie, I still find the picture, the profile picture for God a little bit confusing, considering it's a picture of Jesus. Although if you're into the whole like, what am I thinking of? Thank you, my wife had to help me there. The Trinity, the Trinity as the Trinity as one. What's that called? Does it have a name? Right, I know, but it has a name. No, I know it's called 3 in 1, but what is it? What's that called? I know it's called the Trinity. What's that called? 3 in 1 Christianity. There's a name for that. The doxology? Is that what that's called? No, it's not the doxology. That doxology is repetitive prayer. I'm gonna have to look up what that is. It's really gonna bother me until I look it up. Huh. Don't know. Alright, let's take a look here. Right here, World War I. I think of... Not huge on this question. Could be something a lot better. Alright, so just about 5 minutes, guys, and then I'm gonna get going. Got places to be. Mainly my bed. About 3 minutes or so. No. That's too bad. Alright guys, just about a minute. First and last sentences. Sentences don't get mired down in it, which is definitely the case with withdrawals. There we go. See what this Google form is. Then once I check this out, any last questions, you want to make sure you get them in now, because I'm going to sign off here pretty soon. Connect. Okay, I like those questions. Those are solid. So let's reverse these. 36 and 72. Whoa, that's a bit much. Alrighty guys, so if that's all the questions we had, even if I got 4 of them tonight, or 3 questions or whatever it was, I'm glad that I helped you. So when I see you guys tomorrow, be ready for your test. Please make sure you get your board games turned in. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.